right, hello everyone, and welcome to today's session for the Simpson College Explore Simpson Academic Series on Psychology. My name is Emily Radke. I am one of the Assistant Directors of Admissions here at Simpson, as well as a alumni of Simpson from the class of 2008. And now that it is 7 o'clock, I want to welcome you guys all here. We do have Professors Amanda Martins and Sal Myers from the Psychology Department on the call this evening, as well as students Emily Bell and Mackenzie Brenko, who are also psychology majors. If at any time you have any questions, please be sure to put them in the chat. We also do have 99 alum and fellow Assistant Director of Admissions, Jeremy Johnson, on as well, who will be navigating through those questions at the end of the call. So to move forward here, we're going to go ahead and have Sal and Amanda speak a little bit about some of the exciting things that our psychology department has to offer our students in an undergraduate capacity. Myself here from admissions, I will go ahead and talk about the process of what it takes to not only apply to Simpson, but also some of the great opportunities that we do have here for students and some things that we are really proud of. And then, as I said, we will have a live Q&A where you are more than welcome to either put a question in the chat or go ahead and just ask a question directly to either Sal, Amanda, or our two student panelists. So just to present our first presenter, we have Sal Myers, who has been with Simpson for 26 years, is a recent Distinguished Teaching Award recipient, also considers herself as a crazy cat lady, and she is our Miss Fizzle. If you are familiar with the Magic School Bus, then you will know who I am referencing. And then we also do have Amanda Martins. Amanda Martin is currently in her second year here at Simpson. She enjoys in her free time, when she is not wrestling with her one-year-old daughter, softball, gardening. She's also an advisor for our club and also psychology, and also oversees undergraduate research. So enough from me. I will go ahead and pass this along to our presenters.
So I'm going to start. Hi, Jennifer and Lacey. It's nice to meet you. Like she said, I'm Amanda Martins. It is my second year. I love being at Simpson. I was looking for a liberal arts school because I love how they focus on undergraduates. I went to an undergraduate school, or a liberal arts school for undergrad, and I absolutely love my time there, and I'm so glad to be back as a professor. So I'm going to be talking to you about learning opportunities, about ways to get involved. So Emily, would you click to the next slide, please? Okay, so we have a lot of classes that we focus on getting you as involved as possible in the psychological science that we all do. So you will, in these classes, design your own research projects or proposals. So here's a few of them on the site over here. Just the other day, I was talking to my developmental psych class about research methods and developmental psychology, and they're nodding along. And they were very well informed about those research methods. And I was like, oh, you all probably had Sal. And we were talking about how amazing Sal was. And I said, you know, you're never going to find a person as jazzed about research methods as Sal. And 26 heads nodded with me. They all agreed. And so that was instant feedback that I was right, you're not. And I've told Sal that I wish I would have had her in research methods, because when she's telling me what she does in that class to get them involved, to get them excited about research, I'm like, oh, my research methods teacher read us a textbook. Sal's doing all kinds of things with her iPad. Students are holding up cards and answering questions live. Some of the things I do is I ask a lot of questions in class to get my students involved. We do a lot of activities. One of the recent things I just did was I do a magic trick when I am teaching about research methods, and I tell my students I'm going to read your minds. But I can't actually read minds. The whole purpose is to get us thinking about why research is important and how to evaluate claims about humans. Next slide, Emily, please. Other opportunities that you have at Simpson are awesome kind of hands-on opportunities to participate in things related to psych science. So if you take learning and behavior, you get to apply the material you learn by training your own rat with oh my goodness, the words just left my head, with conditioning techniques that you learn about in learning behavior. And then I believe it's in behavioral neuroscience that you get to dissect your own sheep brain. Sal, can you kind of nod? Is that the right class? Okay, perfect. And then practicum, you get a chance to participate in, I'm losing words again. You get to go out and kind of do like an internship where you're working with people in a field that you're interested in related to psychology. Okay, Emily, next slide again, please. What is an awesome opportunity? So on my slide, it talked about how I love working with undergraduate research, and I know Sal does too, because you've been working on research in all of your classes, and we build towards you collecting your own data and presenting your own research. Our students have the opportunity to present their research at regional and national conferences. So what this means is they get to take their own projects and present them to other undergraduates, graduates, and professors from other colleges from all over the country. They get to see other presentations, learn from them. This one specifically, MPA or Midwestern Psychological Association, is in an old historic hotel in downtown Chicago. This was actually my first conference that I went to as an undergrad. It was a great time. I remember my name being in the back of the book and being so excited that my name was on something. And now I get to see that excitement on my students' face when they submit to conferences and get to find their name in the booklet. So that's just a really exciting opportunity. It's a networking opportunity for grad school for students. It's a way to learn about the current research going on in the field. It's just overall a good time. Emily, slide again, please. And you can go another one. There are multiple ways to get involved while you are an undergrad at Simpson. So we have 2 student-run clubs called Psychology Club and Psychi. Psychology Club is open to everyone in a psych minor, psych major, anyone interested in psychology. And then Psychi is actually our honor society that we would invite you in if you have a high GPA and a certain number of credits. And then these groups put on activities to help students get involved throughout the year, help them get to know professors, provide networking opportunities, provide kind of community opportunities to get to know other people. Emily, slide. Here are just 2 of the activities our students did last year. So one of them, this was kind of cool. They did a finals relaxation event where they had Dawn Evans, one of our professors in psychology, do a relaxation technique so that they could relax before finals. So they all brought their own blankets, and Molly was telling me that she fell asleep and had no idea that she could ever fall asleep to the sound of Dawn's voice because she had trained herself for so many years not to fall asleep in his classes. And then the other event, it's funny that both of them are blankets. They were actually making blankets to give back to the community. So they are making blankets for a children's hospital. They like helping people, and this is how they decided to do that for their club event. All right, next slide, please. There are also other ways to get involved that our psychology majors do well in as far as leadership opportunities. So one of those is a community advisor, and as far as I can understand, this is a person that puts on events in residence halls, helps people feel like a community, so it can be smaller events for their floor, but they're also kind of a support system for students that live near them in their residence. Career peers are peers that meet with you to talk about what kind of careers you can get in your field. They do one-on-one mentoring, but they also do small workshops over things like networking. And then sometimes their career peers get together to put on bigger workshops for more networking opportunities. And then Sarah is our sexual assault response advocate. This is a completely student-run organization that provides education and awareness about sexual assault on college campuses, and they also provide 24/7 advocacy and a phone line that people can reach at any time. And next slide. I think I turn it over to Sal now. I apologize, I'm a fast talker. I get excited, so.
Yes, I'm Sal Myers, and if you want to skip to the next slide, Emily, I get to talk about some of the careers that are available to psychology majors. So one of the really fantastic things that I did or was able to do last spring was I offered a 1-credit course in careers in psych. Since most courses are 4 credits, this gave students a chance to do this extra 1-credit thing and learn about all the different careers that our psych majors have gone into. And what I did was had alumni from all across the country come and join me on Zoom and talk about their careers and answer students' questions. So some of the careers that psychology majors often go into are counseling-related careers. And some of them get doctorates. So Cora Schumacher is a clinical psychologist. She actually has a PsyD, which is a more practical degree. It's a more practice-based degree than the PhD. The PhD requires more research. But what they actually do once they're done and have jobs is pretty much the same. Cora's been in private practice in the Des Moines area for many years now. Laura Kern graduated quite recently, and she has just finished a master's degree in mental health counseling and is working as a therapist with a wide variety of different clients, including kids and adults. Peyton, I didn't manage to actually talk to. She had some sort of emergency that came up at work and didn't get to join us. She has a master's of social work degree, and a psych major is actually a fantastic major for people that want to go get an MSW. And she is a nephrology social worker. Nephrology is working with people with kidney disorder. So she's in a very medical sort of field, but helping people adapt and cope with kidney problems. Next slide. So there are also people that have careers, a variety of different careers, working with kids or working with student populations. So Julie Sukup is a school psychologist. School psychologists, I don't know if you've necessarily met your school psychologist, but a school psychologist is the person usually brought in by a teacher who says, I'm having a really hard time teaching Johnny to read, or I can't get Johnny to sit still in his chair, or whatever the issue is. They call the school psychologist in. The school psychologist works with the child to figure out exactly what the problem is, does a lot of testing, and then puts together an individualized education plan and works with the teacher to help the teacher more successfully teach that student. Jamie Kabursky-Spring actually has a master's in counseling or mental health counseling, something like that. But she's decided that she likes working with a college-age population, and she works for the University of Massachusetts, and she does both academic advising and academic initiatives. Emily Delanoy is currently a graduate student, and she's training to be a child life specialist. I've met lots of people who are interested in being child life specialists, and the best thing to do if that's where you want to go is to get a 4-year degree and then go to a graduate program to be a child life specialist. Next slide. We have a variety of people who do things in psychology and law. Miranda Dean is, when I talked to her last spring, she was just working on finishing up her internship for her PhD in clinical or counseling psychology, I don't remember which. And she was working at a forensic inpatient hospital. So she was working in a mental health hospital with people who were imprisoned. So she was working with a prison population in a mental health hospital setting and loved it. She was doing exactly what she wanted to do, providing counseling and support to those inmates. Miranda Crakey is a forensic interviewer. She has, I think she's got an MSW, and she discovered as she was working on her graduate degree that There is such a thing as a forensic interviewer, and what those people do is interview children who have been they suspect have been physically or sexually assaulted, to figure out exactly what happened and then pass it on to the right legal authorities. So she does not actually provide counseling. She works with the child to find out what happened. And Dylan Anderson was a psychology major and then went to law school. We've had a number of psychology majors go to law school. Psych is a great major for that. There are lots of great majors if you want to go to law school. And so he works as a law clerk in Iowa. And just so you know, I have talked to lots of students who want to be forensic psychologists and do the kind of stuff they've seen. They want to be an FBI profiler. FBI profilers do not get hired out of psychology departments, and they hardly ever get hired. There aren't very many of them. And in fact, if what you want to do is be an FBI profiler, personally, I think that you ought to major in theater, because there are more of them on TV than there are in the real world. Next slide. We also have students who have gone on to use their psychology degrees in the business world. So Stephanie Quillen went on to get a master's in IO Psych, Industrial Organizational Psychology. And she is the director of talent innovation for Tyson Foods. So she oversees a lot of people and has a fantastic job that she completely loves. Marissa Balo was also interested in industrial organizational psychology, but instead of getting the 2-year master's degree in IO, she got I didn't even know this existed until she went there. She got a 1-year master's degree in applied psychology and is now the operations manager at a small consulting firm that provides advice to people in nonprofit organizations about how to run their nonprofits more effectively and how to more effectively serve in leadership positions in those nonprofits. Martha Mickelson is one of the few people I actually put on the slide that does not have a graduate degree. She's done a number of different things and ended up in Seattle, Washington, and she works for a bank. And she's in charge of corporate social responsibility. So she organizes service projects that bank employees engage in to help the community. And she serves in some ways as a liaison between the service needs of the community and what the bank can support and help offer. Next slide. Okay, before we talk to the students, I want to say that it is not the case that all of our Simpson, all the psychology majors go on to graduate school. Many of them do, and they do in a wide variety of different areas. But that does not mean that you have to have a master's degree or a PhD in order to do what you want to do or to get a good job with a psychology major. There are lots of options out there. The one exception really is if you want to do counseling, you have to have at least a master's degree. Okay, and then I will, if you want to go to the next slide, Emily, we'll let Emily Bell talk for a few minutes.
Hi guys, I'm Emily Bell. I'm a senior here at Simpson. I'm from Aurora, Colorado. I play softball and I'm double majoring in business management and psychology, and I have a minor in health services leadership. So I look to combine my business and psychology experiences. It's kind of a weird pair, but I guess it works. I am in advanced research right now and learning in behavior. So I do have my own little rat. Her name's Fiona, and I love her to death. She's so cute. But my advanced research project, I'm actually working with Sal and Amanda right now, one-on-one. There's 3 other girls in our main section. So we get one-on-one time with our advisors to work on our projects. And I'm working on facial trustworthiness, belief in pure evil, belief in pure good, and how they impact sentence lengths for criminal defendants. So I got to create that topic on my own, and I've been developing it since last semester, and now we're really digging down deep and getting what I want out of that study for this semester. So then hopefully I'll be able to submit my poster to a conference and speak about my findings and my research. So psychology here is very hands-on. That is one of the reasons why I chose Simpson. I wanted to have that one-on-one with my professors and be able to have those relationships. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to come back to campus so bad, is so I could have those interactions with Amanda and Sal and have them help me with my projects. So that is definitely a very big positive about Simpson, is you're always going to have those resources. But being a small school, I would be like, oh, maybe we don't get to have those experiences. No, we get those opportunities at a much greater, I don't even know how I want to say this, but it's right there in your face, because we have such a low student to faculty ratio that our professors know who we are, and we're able to ask them directly, like, hey, can you help me with this? Or, hey, I'm really interested in this. So my future plan is I want to go to law school. I've been taking the LSAT. I'm probably going to take a gap year and do an internship, kind of figure out what type of law I want to do. And then psychology has really helped me find my passions and decide that I want to go into law school. So that's my plans, but I'll hand it over to Kenzie.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mackenzie Granco. I'm a junior here at Simpson. I'm majoring in psychology. My future plans is I want to go to a graduate school and specialize in clinical psychology. So I'm kind of in the process of looking at different schools, studying for the GRE, doing all that fun stuff. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I was given the opportunity from Sal to be a TA for her research methods class this fall. And what that kind of means is I'm pretty much just an extra resource for the students taking that course. I'm kind of in charge of this online Moodle tab where students are able to ask questions about different chapters, or they can just reach out with something that they're concerned about. And if I feel like I'm able to answer these questions, I can do so, or I can pass it on to Sal to take care of. So that's kind of my role there. And then as Sal mentioned, the Careers in Psychology course, I took that course last spring. And the reason I took that course was because I knew I wanted to major in psychology, but as you saw earlier, there's a lot of things you can do with that. So I wasn't quite sure where my focus was going to be. So that was a super beneficial class for me to see all those different perspectives and see what it took for those different alumni to get to where they are. What was most beneficial was there were a few alumni who talked about their graduate school experience, what it was like to be in it right then, and then some had already been in their careers for a long time, and they kind of talked about what it's like to be in the career afterwards. So that was super beneficial for me. They also gave advice about kind of what I should be doing right now as an undergrad to prepare for that. So that was super nice. And then I'm also in cheer here, which is just a nice community for me to be in, to kind of get away from classes, all of that kind of pressure. Just a nice community to just have fun and relax. So that's it for me.
All right, well, thank you so much, ladies, for just letting us know a little bit more about psychology, and not only about what you get to do within the department, but also what some of our alumni are doing across the country. Some really awesome opportunities, and I'm very excited to see what Kenzie and Emily do upon graduation. So at this time, myself and Jeremy, we're going to go over just the admissions portion. So really just kind of going over what does it take, what do you need to do to become a part of this department and be a part of the Simpson community. So before we get into kind of the nuts and bolts about the application, we always do like to brag about a few things that we are so proud of here at Simpson. And a few things that set us apart from our competitors. One of the primary things is our size. So Simpson is a very small, not a very small, but a smaller private liberal arts college of about 1,200 total full-time undergraduate students. Of those students, 86% of our students do live on campus. We have a really awesome housing system here, but one of the things that we really pride ourselves on with having a smaller campus community is more opportunities to do things like what these ladies talked about, from independent research to having more one-on-one time with your professors, and really get a better understanding of the concepts that are being discussed in class. And another thing with having such a small campus is a 12-to-1 student to faculty ratio. I think a testament to Sal being with Simpson for 26 years, now she has this awesome network of alumni, students that maybe she hasn't seen in 10 years, but she probably talks to frequently to learn about the various different things that they are doing in the psychology world, whether it be they're in a private practice or they're actually utilizing their degree in corporate America. I really think that that is something that you don't get at bigger schools, where you can have that one-on-one relationship with your professor, even when it comes down to academic advising. Your academic advisor is going to be the person that's teaching some of your classes. So that way you're able to build really strong partnerships with professors and other faculty on campus. Another really awesome thing about Simpson is, unlike other schools, we actually offer over 80 different majors, minors, and pre-professional programs. So, for someone like Emily Bell, that is a psychology major, but is also interested in business and wants to go to law school, if you have an interest in another area such as religion, neuroscience, sports science, and health education, you can mold all of those things into your psychology major and end up double and even triple majoring here at Simpson with those opportunities, and then also having that proper guidance from faculty and faculty advising. Of our Simpson graduates, for a poll that we did for our 2019 class, 99% graduation rate. And our students are either entering the workforce or doing some type of graduate program at least 6 months outside of graduation. I think a lot of that is a testament to our excellent intern opportunities that we have through our Career and Development Center here on campus. This department will work with you as soon as your freshman year for any intern opportunities that you would like to be competitive in. One of the great things about this opportunity is that, it's not reserved for upperclassmen. If you see a really awesome internship opportunity and you want to go for it, and, Sal is your advisor and she's rooting for you, and then so are the people in career development, they're going to work with you on your interview skills, on your speaking skills, on your resume writing. Make sure that when you go into that interview for an internship or a summer job or even a job after college, the Simpson candidate is the best candidate. That's something that I'm pretty sure Jeremy has attested to in his career. I've attested to in my career, and it's something we really pride ourselves on at Simpson. Last but not least, financial aid. 100% of our full-time students do receive financial aid here from Simpson. We have awesome scholarship opportunities for students, where every student that comes to Simpson is awarded a Simpson scholarship based on your cumulative GPA of at least $22,000 annually. So again, making sure that if Simpson is where you want to be, that's where someone like myself and Jeremy actually come in to make sure that it is affordable and that opportunity is there for you. Okay. So the next thing that we want to talk about is just what are some of the next steps. So you've heard about psychology, you've heard what our alumni are doing, you've heard about what our current students are doing. So what do I need to do now in order to be a part of this community at Simpson College? First thing is to apply. So Simpson is not only a part of the Common App, but we also do have an application on our website, which is simpson.edu. It is a free application, and what you'll need to do is just make sure you fill that out if you haven't already in its entirety, as well as submitting an official high school transcript and an official ACT or SAT scores. Now we understand that with COVID-19, ACT and SAT test dates have been canceled. So you always do have the option of applying to Simpson as test optional. We are one of only a handful of schools across the country that are embracing the test optional option for students coming into college. And then once you do that, it usually takes anywhere from 3 to 5 business days to go ahead and get your application reviewed, and then your admissions counselor will call you and let you know when you've been admitted, as well as what the next steps are in the admissions process. After you've been admitted to Simpson, the next step in the process is to fill out the free application for federal student aid, otherwise known as the FAFSA. The FAFSA does open up for people on October 1st, 2020. And with Simpson, there is actually an additional grant that is tied to that. So if you have been admitted to Simpson, we have all of your paperwork and information as well as your FAFSA. You could qualify for a $2,000 grant if all of that information is into us by December 1st. And that is an annual grant that will always be renewed and go towards your full cost of tuition. The next thing, of course, come visit us. So one of the great things that we're doing, and we've been introduced to now thanks to this COVID-19 world we're currently living in, is while we do have in-person visits and we'd love to get you on campus, we also understand that if you're coming from a different part of the country, such as Texas, Arizona, or even Washington, or even as close as Illinois, we understand that getting to campus may be a little tough, but that's why we have a full virtual visit that we'd love to schedule with you, where you can meet with your admissions counselor like myself or Jeremy. We can have you meet with faculty such as Amanda or Sal. You can talk with current students or even an athletic coach or an activity coach of your choice. So we really want to make sure that you still get that Simpson feel and you still feel like you could be a part of a member of our community through a virtual visit, though I prefer the in-person visits if you can get here because our campus is truly beautiful. And there's nothing like having a prospective student on the quad kind of seeing all of the beautiful scenery that Simpson does have to offer. So only other thing that I have really is just we do have some really awesome events that are coming up that are virtual for students. We have a whole academic series where we'll be going over other academic departments such as criminal justice, sociology, not athletics, but health and exercise science, otherwise known as sport science and health education. So just be sure to check out our website and check and see what else we have. They are all virtual sessions just like this, to where you can go ahead and log on and just hear what it is that we have to talk about. So that is all that we have for you, but now we'd love to go ahead and open it up for questions. So does anyone have a question for any of our panelists here that they would like to ask? And you can unmute yourself, or if you want, you can go ahead and ask in the chat.
Emily, we do have a question in the chat box. A student had taken the ACT in August this year, but was for one of the Iowa State schools only. Will they still have the option to apply through the test-free option?
Yes. So, if you did, because I do know that like in Iowa State or Iowa, they are a self-report school. So again, you can always go ahead and do test optional. You don't have to apply with that score. You applying test optional is also not going to hinder any type of scholarship opportunities that you could get with Simpson either. So when you go to simpson.edu and you're looking to apply, just make sure that you select the application for test optional, and then you can go ahead and fill it out that way. And then also just make sure that your high school counselor sends us your official high school.
Sal, one question I get a lot when recruiting students is a lot of students want to double major, and psychology is always one of them. And you've kind of touched base a little bit tonight on all the possibilities with double majoring. Would you say a lot of your psychology students do double major?
Yes, I think that double majoring is probably more common than not, although I don't know if I'm accurate in saying that or not. A lot of students double major, and they double major in a lot of different things. So there are psych neuroscience doubles, there are lots of psych CJ, psych soc doubles, psych and human services, but there are also psych and religion doubles. There are psych and philosophy doubles. There are psych and computer science doubles who are interested in artificial intelligence and have gone on to do some interesting things in computer science with that psych background. Amanda, can you think of what other majors I'm blanking on that people are double majoring in? Oh, business, obviously.
Business is a big one. I think you did a great job. I was just going to add that CJ means criminal justice for those not familiar with the term. Simpson, I had to get used to them, loves using letters for everything. So as the new one, I know, make sure everybody else knows what those letters mean.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
While we're waiting for other questions, I also wanted to say something about the advantages of coming to a small place like Simpson, and that's that you get to know your faculty really well, which Emily alluded to, but one of the consequences of that, one of the great outcomes of having those close relationships with faculty, is you get much better letters of recommendation. A good letter of recommendation does not say, they took my class, they got an A. A good letter of recommendation tells stories about what you're like in class, what abilities you have, what skills you've developed, and what knowledge you've gained while you've been in college. So I know that because I've had my students in multiple classes. I've supervised their research experiences. So I can brag about students in great detail in a way that faculty from large universities just can't.
I'm gonna back what Sal just said. I was on the receiving end for a program called SURUP, which was an undergraduate research program. So I was the one getting all the letters of recommendation and sorting them for that position in grad school. And Sal is absolutely right. The people that were at smaller liberal arts colleges had professors with 2 or 3 page letters of recommendation, and those at larger schools had a paragraph primarily. Now, I don't want to say that happens everywhere, but that is the pattern I was seeing, and that's what happened to me too, is that when I left my undergraduate institution, I had a very long letter, and they actually showed me my letter. So they said, I want you to know what we're saying. And that was huge for me because I didn't know what that was like. I had no idea the process. And now I write them myself. So I just wanted to add evidence to Sal's statement.
Great, thank you very much for that added anecdote, Sal. And as someone that came from Simpson, and I'm still pretty close with some of my professors from all those years ago, it is very accurate. So Jeremy, do we have any more questions?
We do not have any more questions right now.
Alrighty. Well, then I think at this point, then we're going to go ahead and wrap this call up. Please make sure that you guys are staying connected with Simpson. We are on all social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Coming soon, maybe TikTok. We'll have to see about that one. But otherwise, if you guys ever need anything, have any questions, please be sure to seek us out on simpson.edu. You can find us all in our various contact pages, as well as, we definitely hope that you guys are having good school years. We understand that everything is very different, but, just make sure that you guys are all taking care of yourselves. And if you ever need anything from us, please reach out. See you guys later. Bye.